So what city you in right now, bro?
I'm in Charlotte.
Come on, Queen City. So Charlotte has always and will always have a special place in my heart.
It's nice out here in Charlotte.
All right, we about to do this, brother.
Let's do it.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Tomb Slayer Podcast, the place where we have resurrectional conversations. And indeed, I just made that word up. Today is especially delicious because we have a special guest today who hails from the Queen City. It's got a special place in my heart. Bojangleville, ladies and gentlemen, Charlotte, North Carolina. He was the 7th round draft pick in the year of our Lord, 2021, to the Indianapolis Colts, who now hails from Bojangleville, Charlotte, North Carolina, the Queen City. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers, Michael Strachan. What's up, brother?
How are you doing? Everything is good. Can't complain.
We in here, man. We in here. Let me start off by saying, what you think about the Bojangles, brother?
The Bojangles, it'd be good. I just ordered some the other day. It's good.
It's Bojangles be hitting, man. And Bowberry biscuits, brother. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can't go too.
At
you
night
can't do too much.
Yeah, not too much, but you know, here and there is pretty good.
Pretty good, man. It's that nothing like the dirty rice. Get that dirty rice up in you. You know? But brother, it is a privilege to have you on, man. I appreciate you for making the time to be on the Tomb Slayer podcast. And man, I want to just jump right in. In the intro, I mentioned that you were the 7th round draft pick, right? So I have a cousin who plays in the league. Last year, he was with the Miami Dolphins, Justin Bethel. He was the 6th round draft pick. So talk to me about your expectations going into the draft and watching round after round after round go by, and then finally you get called in the 7th round. Talk to me about that.
I mean, the draft time it could be stressful because, you know, you never truly know when you could be picked up or by who you can be picked up, you know. So it's just kind of like a waiting game. You know, you're sitting there, you know, most of the time you're with your family. I was with my family. So we were sitting there, you know, a lot of rounds going by, pick after pick, you know, and it's 3 days, but it's the longest 3 days of your life if you were drafted like on the last day like I did. But it's, you know, it could be a little stressful sitting there, you know, after the first day you don't get called, and the second day you don't get called, and finally on the third day, you know, after 6 rounds, and here comes the 7th round. I'm pretty sure, I was the first pick in the 7th round. So, you know, that was a blessing for me. And, you know, like I said, it was just a time where it was real stressful.
Yeah, but, I mean, you're sitting there with your fam.
Yeah, everybody's waiting. You're waiting, you know, and you're thinking, and you're trying to figure out what's going on, and then finally the phone rings, and it's just, you know, it's such a blessing.
Man, there's a scripture that says, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but when the desire has come, it's a tree of life. So I can only imagine the life-giving tree that phone call was for you and your fam, man. So a lot of people, we don't manage our expectations well. And I had Justin on the show, and I was talking to him about sometimes, you know, people's expectations for you, or maybe sometimes our expectations for ourselves, are extremely high, you know. And he went to a very small school in South Carolina, Presbyterian. And it's like, when I was talking to him about this, he mentioned that he did not have those super high expectations. It wasn't like God was going to supernaturally, you know, God going to talk to somebody. I'm going to be the number 1 draft pick. I know don't nobody know me, but I know God going to give me the favor. But it's like sometimes you have to be able to manage your expectations with reality and say, you know what, it doesn't even matter when I get called or if I get called. If I don't get the call, I am who God says I am regardless. So can you speak to that?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like, you know, you got to know your situation, you know, through your spiritual walk, through, you know, what's going on in your daily basis. You know, you'll be able to gauge and understand, you know, at what point you're at. And then you can set goals for yourself, knowing your situation and where you might be at that time in life. Everybody's situation is different. You know, mine might be a little different than what yours might be. But, you know, all of us have a spiritual walk that we're, you know, moving through life with. And I just say, you know, God always got your back, and he knows what's best for you. And, you know, he'll reveal the best moves for you to make, you know, especially in that time. Once you pray and, you just be thankful for what you have.
Yeah. Yeah, man. There are people. I've got a couple of friends in the league, and I was actually there's actually a conference that I go to. I have been to a couple of times. Me not ever playing in the league or anything like that, but being a worship leader, and a praise and worship singer and stuff like that. I went to this conference called PAO, Pro Athletes Outreach, and one of the things that I noticed is that there are a lot of believers in the NFL.
Yeah.
So do you know why that is, or what is behind that? More so than I've seen in the NBA as well as the MLB or whatever. But there's something about NFL players that just they have a lot of them have a strong relationship with Christ.
I feel like with NFL players, I don't know, like with our sport, you know, I feel like we are, a lot more physical, and so, the mental part is tougher, and so I feel like with most players in the league, mentally we pretty strong. So I feel like we're not scared or afraid, whatever you want to call it, to you know express who we believe in or who we follow or who we so I feel like that could be a part of it. I'm not
Hmm.
sure, I don't have all the answers, but
Yeah,
I feel like, I mean, it's a good thing, most of these athletes, particularly in the NFL, you know follow, have a great spiritual walk, and follow Christ, and it's good to see.
absolutely. I know it was very refreshing for me because just being a spectator, you just imagine that cats they come off the field and movies will hype your head up and as to
Right.
what you think, how you think they respond and act in real life or eating in public and just tackle somebody. So it is just really really tough on the exterior. And of course then you add the financial piece to it for a lot of people, and it's just like, man, God who, Jesus who, like I'm out here. So I was going to ask, man, is it difficult for you to express and to live as a believer in that space? Because a lot of people listening to this podcast, man, they're seemingly undercover because they don't feel free to be able to express their relationship with God, or to tell people about their relationship, especially nowadays where Christians get a bad rap, bro. I mean,
Right.
like across the board. It's not as popular to be a believer as it was, because like when I was growing up, because there's so many different prevailing thoughts, and everybody thinks that they're right in their own eyes. But to be able to submit your life to the will of God is a very special thing. So is
Right.
it difficult for you in the space that you live in and you do life in to actually carry the name of Christ like openly?
I wouldn't say it's difficult. I feel like it's more of a blessing to be able to, share that and express that. Um, I never got the point of believing in something and not being able to express it or show it. So,
Mm.
deep down in my heart, I'm gonna always, be comfortable with expressing what I believe in, and my daily walk. Um, yeah, so it's just within yourself to have the courage to, be able to express.
Yeah, man, dude. So I was on your Instagram page, man. I saw a post that you made that just made me stop, bro. And it was like it's a quote that says, "If you have no struggle, you have no strength." Like that really, really spoke to me, because a lot of people see where you are. Like for instance, I'm singing on stage around the world and all this other kind of stuff in the group that I sing in, and people look at me and they figure that I'm above the issues that they have, or some it's just the reality. Or like people will look at you and say, oh man, you don't deal with the stuff that I deal with, you really didn't have the struggles that I. But the reality is the people that are strong have had struggles. So can you talk to us about some of the struggles that you've had to overcome to be the strong man that you are right now?
I could just talk from my experience with being, in the NFL, and this is a sport that is high in injuries, and I had an injury, to myself. I had torn my meniscus, and it was it was a downtime for me. When it happened, I couldn't believe it. I was actually shocked, and it was I cried some nights because I was in so much pain too as well, like after the surgery and all that stuff, and I couldn't play, and I had to sit and watch my team.
Yeah.
And I'm the type, I love being out there competing with my teammates. So me sitting there not being able to watch, it really hurt on the inside. It might not sound as crazy to certain people, but for me, like I said, I cried some nights because I was not able to play, the sport that I love due to the injury. But during the process, it made me stronger, like coming off of it, being able to overcome that, and, being able to share my testimony to other people is just, because a lot of other people go through it. And so when people hear my testimony, it can help them get through it. So it just, it's a cycle helping, that I went through, but through my situation, I can help somebody else get through theirs.
Absolutely. So it's like the Bible says, we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of our testimony. Of course, we know that you can't even spell testimony without the word test. So the things I think that we have to learn to be a little bit more gracious. Honestly, if I could say it this way, almost be more gracious with God, because he allows these things it's not like he made you, tear your meniscus or anything like that, or he causes these things to happen, but he allows them to happen so that he can be glorified in it. It's kind of like when Mary and Martha came to Jesus and they was like, they sent word to Jesus that Lazarus was sick. They're like, dude, come quickly, because we already know who the healer is. We know you're the healer. You and Lazarus are boys. Y'all rock together. Y'all be eating fish together at the thing. You know what I'm saying? So come, because your boy is sick. And he was like, he delayed his coming. And when he finally got there and Lazarus was dead, bro, I can only imagine what they felt like. In fact, we know a little bit about like the state of mind, because the response was, yeah, we know he'll live again, in the resurrection or whatever. But their expectation was clearly not that he was going to raise him up then.
Right.
But that was done so that God could be glorified. And I think that if we learn to rest and relax a little bit more in those spaces of the pain or the struggle or the injury, knowing that God's track record is good, that he's going to make it good, and bring a testimony out of it. But we freak out, bro. I know I do. It's like being in the stock market, right? So it's like you take a position and the junk tanks, and you just sitting there like,
right.
You you put your notifications on, and like your phone be dinging, and it's like, oh no, the bottom fell out. It's like, oh my God. It's like, but you know that it doesn't stay down forever. And the only way you lose is if you sell when it's low.
Right.
The only way you lose is if you quit with your back on the mat. Right. So, because, yeah. Right. No, go ahead.
You said the natural thing to do is panic, when it first happened. But, when it settles in and you sit back and, you pray about it, and, it's just, you just gotta know within your heart, like that God is going to lead you in the right path, and he's going to, help you help you get out of it.
Yeah. We got to trust. And that's at every level, bro. We don't ever arrive. When I say arrive, meaning whether it's getting the job that you've always wanted, or, getting the career you've always wanted, getting drafted to the league, or singing on stage. We are never beyond the point of needing faith. We're never beyond the point. We don't ever arrive to the point where it's like, all right, that's it. From now on, life is good. I don't really need this anymore. Everything is straight. No, we need Jesus said, if you continue in my word, then you are my disciples indeed, and you shall know the truth, and the truth will make you free. This is a walk. This is we're walking with him daily. And as we do that, we come to different challenges. For you, it could be injuries now. It could be like, let's go to moving from Indianapolis to the Panthers. Like, how did that hit you? Was it like yes?
That's another one, that I could have mentioned as well, but it definitely, it hit different, because now, you're sitting there, you're trying to figure out what's the next move, and you don't know the next move. You just, taking up different calls, from different teams, or, whatever, but you always want to be in the best situation possible. So it was one of those situations where, a move or a decision had to be made, pretty quick,
Right.
and it was another one of those where I had to, pray and sit back and really, really see which situation would be the best for me,
Yeah.
and it's real crazy going through it. It's real
Yeah.
crazy.
Did you, so you got cut from the Colts, or how did it happen?
Yeah, I mean, I got cut from the Colts. In this business, those things happen, and you never know that it could happen to you. But unfortunately, it happened to me, and I had to take it on and move on. Life still goes on. And if you have a passion for doing what you do, you're gonna stay in it.
Yeah, that's true. So that brings me to this question. When there's a lot of people that don't really do well with the separation of what they do versus who they are. Like, did you feel at any point that affected who you were when you got cut, or what do you always have you always had a really good understanding of this is just what I do, this is not who I am, so it doesn't really affect me like that?
Um, I mean, it can affect you in a way, but me, I always, I know the player that I am. I know the God that I follow. I know, the support base, family base that I have. And so I always, I'm always thankful for those things, knowing that I have that. Um, and so, when I went through it, it didn't change the person that I am.
Yeah.
I was obviously hurt by it, but it's just like we talk about it made me stronger, and understand that sometimes life might not exactly go your way on the
Yeah.
daily on the daily.
Yeah.
Um, things happen out of nowhere that you can't control, but you know you're gonna get God is gonna help you get out of it.
Absolutely. That's kind of like, again, like being a traveling musician. That's my profession. That's how I provide for my
Yeah,
family. And then COVID hits,
yeah,
and there's no more concerts. There's no
right,
more traveling and all this other kind of stuff. And everybody's locked down. And it's
right,
like, what am I supposed to do now?
right.
So if who I am is informed by what I do, then if what I do ever stops, then I don't know who I am anymore.
Hmm.
And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of men specifically go through depressions and midlife crisis, because something changes, and what we do, our identity is so locked up and tied up into what we do that when we don't have to do, or when we don't get to do that anymore, we don't know who we are. And
Right,
we're mad and as my dad would say, kicking the dog, slapping the cat, and flushing the gold. Just you
right,
get arguing and needlessly with your wife, and beating the kids up and stuff. It's like we have to have a good understanding, a good foundation, a good nucleus, as it were, to know who God called us to be, number one, and number two, which is actually even more important than which is the most important thing, knowing that God has you. There's always a plan. There's always a purpose. If I never step another foot on the stage to sing, then I know that there's something that God has for me. My destiny doesn't stop when COVID hits.
right.
And not only that, but my responsibilities don't stop when COVID hits. So,
Yeah,
I was telling my wife, we were talking about it the other day because she was on Facebook or whatever and saw a picture from 2020.
right,
And what I did was, bro, so we live in this community in Orlando, got like 308 homes in this community. And so I went out and bought some tree trimming equipment. And Mr. Take Six, Mr. Be on the stage and perform. I'm out there, sending people messages in Facebook. Hey, anybody need their trees trimmed?
right.
Because I still got to provide for my family,
Yeah,
And so to be able to humble myself and do what I need to do to make sure that my family is good was a really, really big eye opener, not just for me and my wife, but even for my son. So he could see, do what you got to do, bro. You got to make sure that we straight. So that's something that a lot of people, I feel, need to hear, because humility is a really, really important factor, because you can be on top of the world today and you can be at the bottom of the pile tomorrow.
No, I was gonna say, and that's why I keep, like I said, the support base with my family. Like that's why I keep my family close. You know, it's so much benefits in keeping your family close because number one, like we talk about humility, they help keep you humble
Yeah.
too. No matter how far you might go up top, they being around your family is gonna help you remember where you came from and help you. They always praying for you and in your corner. So, you're gonna always notice. Stay humble and know where you come from.
I love it. I love it, man. Dude, this is the kind of conversation that I love, bro. I love talking to especially young brothers that get it, man. And I appreciate your humility. Just your and maybe I could say I've got a couple of Bohemian friends, right? And you guys are always seemingly so even keel. Never too high on the highs, never too low on the lows, but it's just real steady and in the middle, bro. And is that a cultural thing or what?
It could be a cultural thing. For the most part, I would say us as Bahamians is pretty, pretty humble, pretty, you go over there, easygoing, really cool people.
Mad cool. Mad cool. Cool, man. So we end our podcast asking all of our guests 3 questions, same 3 questions. And I'm going to ask you. All right, you ready?
Okay.
Question number 1. Give us the origin story of one of your childhood nicknames.
So I had a friend in about this. I would say this is grade 9. He would call me Mike J. And I never understood why he would call me Mike J. I know my name is Michael. Sometimes people say Mike for short. But he called me Mike J. And I guess it's because my dad, his name is Jerome, and I guess he put 2 and 2 together, and he just started calling me Mike J. I'm I don't know, but that's the first thing I thought about when you asked that question.
Mike J. That's obviously a fond memory. It was a good friend back in the day.
Right. I was trying to think way back in the day too, so that's the first thing popped up about 9th grade. That's one of the first nicknames I got, Mike J.
Mike J. Love it. I'm glad it was a good memory. Some people are like, man, my old girlfriend used to call. No, I was kidding. Right. So question number 2. If you had one redo in life, what is one of the decisions that you would go back and redo?
Honestly, I can't think of anything that I would redo. I feel like we go through everything in life for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And so, God has everything perfect and set to how he has it planned and wants it to be. So I wouldn't, in my opinion, I wouldn't go back and change anything at all.
Great answer, brother. That's a great answer. I'm not mad at that at all. Right. Question number 3. Third question. In what way in your life would you like to look more like Christ by this time next year?
So with Christ, it's such a broad thing, to talk about with him because he's a giver, a lover, carer, and those things, I always try to follow. I always try to, show love, friends, family. I give, whether it be through tithes and offering, donations. I have a youth camp in the Bahamas, just showing that love back and giving back to my community. So I would say I would want to take that just to a higher level,
Absolutely, bro. More like him. More of that. More of that.
More of that.
More of that. And more of the Bojangles.
And that's I might get some today.
You know what? Do that. Because there was Bojangles here in Central Florida, right? There was 4 of them, and then they all shut down.
Oh, wow.
Yes. But then, oh, my God. The prayers of the righteous, the Bible says, the prayers of the righteous availeth much. They brought them back. The only thing they didn't bring back was actual chicken with the bones in it. So now the Bojangles down here don't have no bones in the chicken.
Chicken biscuits.
Yeah, I mean, bro, that Cajun chicken biscuit.
Yeah.
I might have to. And they serve it all day? I might have to go get me one of those.
All day.
All day long. But I'm gonna do something special for you. I'm gonna bring something special for you. I'm gonna text you and let you know when I'm there. I'm gonna get you a 9-volt battery for that fire alarm to keep going. I keep chirping in the background. I'm gonna bless your life. I'm gonna bless you, Doc. I felt that in my spirit. I said, every time I heard the chirp, I said, Lord, I'm gonna do it for him. I'm gonna do it for him.
I didn't even hear it. You sure it's me?
It's you. That's what happens. It happens so long that we don't even hear it no more. We be like, Mike, thank you so much, man, for your time, bro. I appreciate you, man. I bless you, your career, your family, bro. May God continue to protect you as you're out there. May he continue to make you a witness for his kingdom, bro. May literally the favor of God and his path become brighter and brighter as you move forward in your career, dude. May your camp go amazing and you inspire so many young people in Bahamas and everywhere you go, but specifically with your camp. May God cause his grace to shine upon you, bro, and may you duplicate people that have the same like precious faith, bro. I appreciate you for your time, man. Thank you for joining us on this podcast, bro.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you for having me. It's been fun.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, let's go Panthers, baby. Oh, I need some jerseys, by the way.
Keep pounding.
That's what it is. Keep pounding. Let's go Panthers. Keep pounding. Love it, man. Appreciate you, dude.
All right.
All right, good people, listen up now. If you enjoyed that episode, trust me, there's a lot more where that came from. So make sure you subscribe to Tombslayer YouTube page because you don't want to miss one of these conversations. You don't want to miss this sweet, sweet hat game either now.